Hi everyone, and welcome back to our next lesson. And in this lesson we continue where we left off. The previous video we discussed backgrounds, and I just wanted one thing I forgot to mention. There's another property called, if we add a background, then we can do Rgba, means for red, green and blue, and alpha. Now what this does is, let's say we added all of them green. We can do hexadecimal color greens. Let's do 333. So let's just add the green right there. Let's do this. X. Okay. So let's copy all of them that color. No. My mistake. Let me just make them all black. White is 255. Black is obviously 0, so we're going to make them all black. Or just stuck on something else I was thinking about. So if you can see right now, our color is black, black, black. And then the alpha is from 0 to 1. So 1 meaning there's no transparency, and 0 meaning it's full transparent. So for us, we can just go 0.5 transparency. So let's quickly see how this looks like in the browser. Alright, as you guys can see, we got our div. So it's kind of a gray color. So let's change the opacity to 1. So if it's 1, it's completely black. If it's 0.2, it's lightish gray. And if it's 9, you could kind of get the gist of it. Okay. So I just forgot to mention that in the previous video. So with enough of that, so let's carry on to our next topic for today, and that topic will be called borders. Okay, so we're going to do borders in CSS. Borders. So how do we work with borders in CSS? So like this one that we have, this div right there. Instead of the background, what we want to do is we want to give it a border. Now we can add border color. We want to give it a nice little color of pinkish. Do the same color, and we want to give it a border width of, let's say, 5 pixels. And we want to give it a border style of solid. So it means a solid line. So let's see how this looks like. Now, as you can see, we added our border in CSS. So let's go to our div. As you can see, we got our border color. We got our 5 pixels. We can even make it less. We can make it 2 pixels. As you can see, it drops down there. 1 pixel, 6 pixels, etc., etc. So, but there's other properties. So obviously you can choose any color you want. You can use any width you want, but there's different style properties that we have. Right. So as you can see, we got a solid, but what if we change it to dashed? Easy. So the next one that we have, is dotted. Gives us kind of a dotted border. Other one we have is double. So we have our double border. Then we got our groove. Have a little groove right there. Kind of give it like a 3D effect groove. Then we have a ridge. A ridge right there, also a 3D. And then we have inset. inset border. Then we have outset. Right, so there's many more properties that you can choose from. Now, I think this is all of them. Thought I was just going to quickly show you a couple, but I showed you all of the properties that we have. Dotted, dash, solid, double, groove, ridge, inset, outset. Yes, I did all of them. Right, so the next thing that you can do is, instead of doing the properties how I showed you guys right here, we actually can do them. Let me show you. Go to VS Code. What you can do with the shorthand, we can just write in border, just border. Then we write the color. Then we write the property, solid. Let's write it like this. So, 5 pixels, solid, and color. So let's change it to a greenish color again. I like how the green color kind of stands out for me at the moment. So let me just go there. Right. So that you can write a shorthand like this. So 5 pixels, the width, the style, and the color. So also what you can do is you can actually, instead of, you can also obviously change this to dashed, solid, or whatever color, but let's go, instead of solid, we just make it dotted. So you can see it works on any other properties. So your width, your style, and obviously your color. So let's see how this looks like in our browser. And voila, we see our little border right there. But now the other part comes in. If you can see right here in our property, let me just zoom in a bit. Now, as you can see, we got our style. You can see border top style. So that border style is actually styling everything. The border width is actually styling all the border width. So if you want different widths, you can actually do a shorthand for this. So what we can do is 5 pixels top, 10 pixels right. Now, as you can see right here, see our border width top is 5, border right 10, 5, 10. So border style, we're gonna change this to solid. So let's quickly do this in CSS. Let's change that to solid. So let's make this a solid. So you can change the style quickly. So let's quickly do different styles. So let's say 5 pixels top, 10 pixels right, 5 pixels bottom, 10 pixels left. Right, it's our border width, not style. Border style. Just kind of want to show you, like if you need different stylings for whatever reason, put a solid, and it's a border color. Border color, we're going to do, let's do the pink again. Right, so that's it. Let's see how that looks like. Now, as you can see in the browser, let's refresh the property. As you can see, we've got our thicker borders on the left and right, and our thinner borders on the bottom. But what if you want to give this a little bit rounded effect? Let's say you don't want it square, you want it rounded. Okay, let's do that. Now, in order to do that, okay, so we can delete this now. Just wanted to show you the styling right there. So let's add that color again, and we can do border radius. Now the radius determines the corners that you want to do. So for us, we're going to use 0, let's say 10 pixels. We want a radius of 10 pixels. Now, as you can see, we got rounded corners of 10 pixels. Obviously, you can make this a little bit higher, or 50 pixels, and you get the picture. All right. So you can obviously change the border however you want. But a nice thing about the DevTools, and this is what I want to show you guys as well. That's why it's kind of useful to learn how this works. So you see the border radius. It's to kind of show you the top left radius, bottom radius, etc., etc. So what you also can do in VS Code, you can just kind of say this, I want this to be 20 pixels there, right? And I want 10 pixels on this side, and I want 0 there and 0 there. Now what that does is only, let's just do this, make that a 20 as well. Kind of make it very noticeable. So let's make this both 50. So that you can only have your borders at the top side. Okay, so, but what if you want to have a border that left there and one here? So that's quite easy to do. So you see the bottom right, so that is this one. Change it also to 50 pixels. Change this one to 0. So then you can create a border like that as well. So rid of that, so you can easily see how you can style it however you want. But then you can obviously go back to your coder editor and you can just change it like that. Quite handy to learn how it works here. So as you can see, I just increase it to 10. So yes, quite nice and easy to do. And that's all for borders for us. Thank you guys for watching, and give it a thumbs up if you like the video. Give it a thumbs down if you dislike the video, and constructive feedback is always welcome. And thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.